Raider Nation. Thank you for joining us on the Only Nation podcast, brought to you by the Raider Ramble. My name is Heidi, but you may know me as Kevlar Prom Dress or even Raider Ladybug. I'm here with Raider Homer and T3 Raider Facts, and we're ready to talk some Raiders football together.
Always ready to talk Raider football, and it is here. Week 1 is come and gone. Here comes week 2. I'm ready.
Allegiant Stadium is in our sights, and the band is getting all tuned up. And Homer, I'm ready to sing that old classic Big Old Jet Airliner because you got a big trip coming up.
Woo! I'm going to be in Vegas. I'm going to have a blast. Looking forward to seeing the family, hanging out, having a good time, and wearing a mask the whole time.
What kind of mask?
Well, I got a Chucky Stuggs mask that I'm going to wear. I got the Homer mask I'm going to wear. I got the Only Nation podcast mask I'm going to wear. I even bought a Homer Simpson yellow one, but that's just going too far. Like one of the skin tight, or not the skin tight, but the tight ones. But that's just going too far. I'm just going to stick with the regular Homer mask that I use.
Sounds sexy though.
Oh yeah. You've seen my shows, right? You know,
I have.
Super sexy wearing that Homer Simpson Halloween mask.
I invite all the girls from around the neighborhood over just to watch.
Well, how come they're not calling me?
They're not calling you because they watch.
But they can call in. I mean, come on.
And bring lots of Modelo.
And Corona. The good kind of Corona, though. The good Corona.
I never met a Corona I didn't like.
Well, there's one out there.
Right, today on the show, we've got a victory to talk about. Woohoo!
Woo!
1-0, baby.
Got our usual news and notes about it. Oh, yeah.
Super excited. Let's talk.
All right.
And we would love to hear from you, Raider Nation, so here's how you can get in touch with us. Leave us a message on the Only Nation podcast voicemail line at 904-701-8667. That's 904-701-8667. Or you can also text us at that number. Like I said, we want to hear from y'all. The season's here, so get in touch with us. Let us know what you're feeling, how you think, what's going to happen, all this and that. And our email address is onlynationpod@gmail.com, and we can also be found on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. You can also check us out on Facebook and YouTube at The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media account and podcasting apps. Don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some Raider merch sent out to you. Also, check out our new website at onlynationpod.com.
That was professional.
Hey, I'm getting better. Cool.
You are getting better. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I've been working hard at it.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Well, you make sure this gets in the episode, all right? I want to hear this on the playback.
Oh, you know what? I accidentally hit pause. Sorry about that. All right. So the latest news in our world, the only important part, at least, the Raiders marched into Carolina for an early game this past Sunday and pulled out a 34-30 victory.
Woo!
Yeah. Josh Jacobs led the charge with 29 touches for a total of 139 yards and three touchdowns.
1, 2, 3.
Woo!
Take that, Mr. Mahomes.
Ha.
Oh, we got to punch them in the mouth, that's for sure.
And Derek Carr went a solid 22 for 30 for 239 yards and a touchdown. No interceptions.
That's my boy.
No sacks. That's my boy.
That's my boy. Oh, now he's your boy, huh? Okay, all right. I'm going to let you have that one. I'm going to let you slide.
Okay, which one of us has an autographed picture of him hanging on their wall?
Oh, man, that's a low blow.
I'm just saying.
Well, mail it to me so I can have it.
No.
I'll send you my address.
He's hanging on to that one for a while.
No. Devontae Booker, he added 29 yards on 4 rushing attempts and added 23 yards on 3 receptions. He looked solid. He was a nice addition.
Solid performance.
Very solid.
Yes.
Darren Waller, he had 6 receptions for 45 yards. And Nelson Aguilar pulled in 1 reception for 23 yards, which was a touchdown.
I got to tell you, that was one of the prettiest balls I've ever seen thrown.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Aguilar, he set it up perfectly. He didn't raise his arms too soon. He just let that ball get there and fooled that defender. And the defender had just an instant to react, and that's what led to that touchdown. That was a great catch by Nelson Aguilar. That was a great
Derek
catch.
Put it right where it needed to be.
On the money. Derek's accurate. But he's got to believe in a receiver. He believed in Crabtree. So he just needs somebody that he can believe in, and hopefully Nelson Aguilar is that guy.
Well, he's got to start believing in field and perceptions downfield. He's good at throwing the short ones. He just needs to trust and put them down the field more.
But you saw it in that play. He's good at the long ball too. But the West Coast offense is designed for short passing, and if it's not there, get the ball out quickly. They were talking about it on Raider Nation Radio. If there's too deep, you're checking down. That's the way they were describing it. And so, I mean, it's a short passing game. I like the short passing games. Remember, once Ruggs, he looked good. So once he starts getting used to the system, he's going to be that intermediate wide receiver that takes that ball and gets those yak yards and starts getting in the end zone. It doesn't have to be deep. You know what I mean? It just got to be completed and then make somebody miss and turn in a 15-yard catch into a 30-yard touchdown or a 50-yard touchdown, and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah. The one thing I would have liked to see is that one deep one from Carr to Ruggs that he kind of floated a little bit. If that would have been on a straight line and nice little zipped in pass, he would have walked in with a touchdown.
The one I would have liked to have seen, I'm not sure if you all saw it, but they put Henry Ruggs on a little short bubble pass, and he was going around the end. And if Witten had gotten a little bit more of a better block and could have sprung him down the sideline, he would have been gone.
Yeah. But that's one thing I will say about Derek Carr. He puts a little too much touch on those deep balls sometimes. And for that Ruggs incompletion, that was just a little too much touch. If he would have just got that ball there, Ruggs would have been there. But, again, Ruggs had two guys on him, so,
Well, I mean the one that Ruggs caught, where he got forced out with inside the 5.
Okay, I was talking about the
first one.
The one that with the incompletion, yeah. I thought he put too much touch on that one.
I think he was just excited, a little pumped up, because I think that was the 5th play of the game or something like that.
Actually, I think it was the second.
Maybe it was the second.
Yeah, it was.
I was just saying that the one that was completed, it was a good throw and everything, but had it not been floated, had it been zipped in there a little bit, he likely would have just walked right in with the touchdown.
Right. He did have to hold up to get it.
Yeah, he had to hold up. He had to slow down a little bit to get it. And, the ball just took a little bit too long to get there. Still a nice play, though.
Oh, yeah. And then I think, I was hearing on the radio again, they thought that maybe Ruggs thought that he was just going to walk in. And he didn't realize that safety was going to come on him so fast. So maybe Ruggs can, get in the next gear and take that into the end zone, or make a juke, because he just thought I guess he was going to try to reach in, but he got plowed.
Yeah.
That was a big hit.
Yeah.
I guess we'll never know. Anyways, in his first game back from injury last year, Jonathan Abram made 13 tackles.
Balling.
Yep.
Laying the wood, too.
Yeah.
He laid the wood on McCaffrey.
Yeah, that was impressive to see him hitting hard and not knocking himself out of the game. That was great.
And, I think once Kwiatkowski left, Abram really stepped it up. And it's almost like he had the green dot. He was making calls and he was all over the field. That kid can play.
It really was. You're right. It almost was like that he just kind of took the green dot from Kwiatkowski and put it on his own helmet.
Yeah, because, even though he was injured last year, that kid was in there studying his ass off. And he knows the defense. And he obviously has a physical ability to play in the NFL. And now it's proven that he has the mind to play in it, in my mind. Of course, he's going to make mistakes down the road, as everybody does. But
I was proud of him. I thought he was going to come out like an absolute crazed maniac. But he did control himself. He had a couple that I was kind of concerned that he might draw a penalty. But the referees fortunately kept their flags in their pockets.
Yeah, there was not a lot of penalties called, even league-wide,
right,
in the first game. I guess the holding penalties that were astronomically lower compared to the first game last year.
Well, I know of at least one holding one that they should have
Oh
called.
yeah, when Max Crosby almost had that sack. Oh my god,
And he was right in front of the
pissed
referee
off.
too. I mean, that was
Oh
just
my
blatant.
god, blatant. I mean, the guy was wrapped. He had his left arm under the guy going towards the quarterback, and the guy had his left arm over Max's shoulder pad. Like that's holding. Period. You know.
I was looking at the penalties compared to last year, and it was pretty impressive. This week there was only 15 offensive holding penalties called league wide.
I mean, I guess maybe the NFL's like, hey, take it easy on these guys. They haven't even played preseason.
Well, you have a lot. You have a lot of new officials this year.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of new officials this year, and I don't think that any of them wants attention drawn to themselves. So they're playing it real easy. I just don't want them to play it too easy.
But anyways, after the great performance by Jonathan Abram, Nick Kwiatkowski, he put up 6 tackles before leaving with a pec injury. Eric Harris, Corey Littleton, and Nicholas Morrow added 5 tackles. And Carl Nassib and Mo Hurst combined for our only sack. That was the only sack of the game for either team.
That's got to change. That has to change. We can, we got burned on that, what was it, 75-yarder? If we can get that pass rush going, it's going to help those young guys when they want to bite on something like that, You got to put pressure on the quarterback to help out these young cornerbacks, so that's got to change.
Arnett's going to learn. He's a good corner, but he's going to occasionally get burned, and hopefully he learned his lesson.
Well, he got in there, and he was making good tackles, I was pleased with his performance, just except for that one play,
Yeah, he had 2 big mistakes, but I think overall he still did pretty good, especially for a brand new rookie, first game action, no preseason, no OTAs, no nothing. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, on the touchdown that he gave up, he did get grabby, and they called him for a holding penalty anyway. And I'm like, if you're going to get called for holding, drag that guy to the ground.
Yeah, don't give up the touchdown. Yeah. All right, kicker Daniel Carlson led special teams with 2 field goals and 4 extra points. His play was highlighted with the 54-yard field goal. He was named AFC Special Teams Player of Week 1.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great kick, too, man. I think he bounced back. Last year, he cost us a couple games. I'm pleased to see him come back and contribute to a win.
Yeah, that kick would have been good from 64.
Yeah, he was pumped, too, and he knew it.
Yeah.
He knew it was good when it came off his foot.
And I'll tell you, I would ask him the question, how much difference kicking off that turf as opposed to that crappy Alameda turf?
Ooh, be careful. You're going to upset some people.
Well, I mean, I love the fans in Alameda. I love Oakland, but that field was trash.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, playing on the dirt. But Seabass did it. Of course, he got his ass kicked on that dirt, too. He missed a couple off that dirt, too, though. So, yeah, it was a contributing factor.
I was just glad to see him. I really like him. So I was glad to really see him step up and be able to nail that sucker.
Me too.
I just hope that consistency stays.
Yeah, we need him to be consistent. That's
I got faith that it will.
There. All right, as far as injuries, Trent Brown left Sunday's game almost immediately with the calf injury, but it is believed that he might be able to play on Monday Night Football. He has to play. All right, you got to be able to play through some of that. A lot of people trash Carr when he was getting paid the most. Now Trent Brown is the highest paid player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to put up. You got to do something. You got to be able to put up, man. All right, and then right back to back, right? Sam Young left the game with a growing injury, but his status is still up in the air. But hey, how about Good? Denzel Good. Good is good. He stepped in from guard and played right tackle. I mean, I like that guy.
I do
I'm
too.
glad we have him.
I think that was your unsung hero of the game right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I love to see, where he came from getting so disrespected in his last team and being able to come over here and really shine.
Yes.
I like the guy, as a person, as a man, and I really love him as a player.
I have to tell you, though, when Sam Young came out, I was just telling myself, please, please do not put in Brandon Parker.
Is he active?
Heidi would have started crying. No, he didn't even have his pads on. That's why Good came in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think he was active.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So Good is good. I'm glad we got that guy. Oh yeah. Now, Nick Kwiatkowski was originally feared to have suffered a torn pec muscle in Sunday's game, but an MRI revealed he has a much less serious injury. Thank God. His status remains up in the air, but he has not been ruled out for Monday. Man, when they said pec, I was like, oh my God, no way. Are you kidding me? But apparently he wanted to come back in the game. So kudos to him. That speaks to this culture that everybody's talking about, that Gruden and Mayock are building on this team. That's the kind of guy that wanted to play injured with a torn pec, a possible torn pec, right? Because they didn't know at that point. And, that's what I mean. Trent Brown's got to step it up. If a guy thinks he has a torn pec and he still wants to play, Trent Brown, come on, man. Come on.
Now, isn't there an old school player that had a torn pec that never got it fixed? Like Matt Millen or something?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But those old school players used to play through stuff like that. Think about Jim Otto.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he never got it fixed. I mean, to this day, it was never fixed.
Now Brian Arakpo had a really bad pec injury for the well, I will say it, at the time, the Redskins, now the Washington football team. But he had a really bad pec injury where he lost the better part of 2 seasons, and I don't think he really recovered from that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Henry Ruggs III went down with a knee injury on Sunday, but he was able to return and complete the game. Again, these are the kind of guys that Gruden and Mayock want, that play injured. There's that clip on the history of the complete history of the Oakland Raiders at the beginning where Gruden's like, this team can win. You guys play hurt. You da-da-da-da-da. And like, that's what they're looking for. Playing hurt. I remember in high school one time I had a sprained knee. We were playing Ironman football because we had nobody. And I played on a sprained knee both sides of the ball because I loved football. I know these guys, they get paid, they're professionals and all that, but I'm just saying, have some passion and look for those kind of players. And I love it. I love it.
Yeah, for $21.5 million a year, I would be playing with a little bit more passion, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
All right. In news that makes everybody within Raider Nation smile, Charles Woodson officially joins Tom Flores as a 2021 Hall of Fame nominee. And if he is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know who is. That is just one guy. He is, and even though he has a Super Bowl ring courtesy of the Green Bay Packers, he's going in as a Raider. Just simple.
Oh yeah, that dude's a Raider through and through.
Also, the Killers are set to rock the halftime of the Raiders' home opener on Monday Night Football from the Caesars Palace rooftop. And I wish I could be anywhere near that. That is going to be a killer show. No pun intended.
I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yeah,
that was funny, and I was so busy bragging, I didn't get to laugh.
Also, Tom Flores will rejoin the Raiders radio crew for the Monday Night Football game against the Saints. And I'm so glad to see Coach Tom back in with the radio crew. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just going to turn my radio on. The Raiders also announced that BetMGM, a joint venture between MGM Resorts International and GVC Holdings, is the club's first official sports betting partner. So there we go. Vegas and the Raiders and betting all there. And, of course, Vegas is going to be lots of hot action all across the board. But with the Raiders right there in Vegas, that's going to be the hot ticket right there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, in other news, cornerback Nevin Lawson was added to the active roster. He's served his 1-game suspension, so he's back. As a result, safety Dallin Leavitt was waived, but then Leavitt was signed to the practice squad, and they subsequently released a defensive back, Jordan Brown. So Leavitt was waived and then signed to the practice squad, and then so he was gone and now back. And he's, again, the special teams ace, so it's kind of good to still have him around. I'm glad that they were able to clear waivers and bring him back and put him on the practice squad.
Yep.
Cool, because I didn't know that, so now I know. Hey, that should be – I knew that. Homer knew that. He knows it now.
No.
Okay, then that brings us to this week's edition of Heidi's High Five.
All right, here is this week's version of Heidi's High Five. Number 1, if Trent Brown can't go on Monday, that will leave the tackle position in the hands of Sam Young and Denzel Good. Now, and although Mr. Good did, well, Good last Sunday.
Ha
There we go. He would be up against Cam Jordan on Monday night. Now, this might require additional help from the tight end, so we
Oh, yeah.
might see some two tight end sets with either Witten or Moreau helping out with the blocking, freeing up Waller in the passing lanes. Number 2, last year, Drew Brees was out for 5 games, and Teddy Bridgewater came in, and the Saints went 5-0 with him. And that was losing a future Hall of Famer and still not missing a beat. Now, I'm sure that even though he may have lost Michael Thomas, Coach Sean Payton feels confident with his quarterback and all the other weapons that he has. Jared Cook and Emmanuel Sanders are both dangerous, as is Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield. Number 3, speaking of Drew Brees, he can be rattled. Although he has a very quick release, if the defensive front can get some early push and collapse the pocket quickly with hands up, that could certainly disrupt the flow of the passing game. The young Raiders defensive backs are going to have to really rely on that pressure in order to keep the silver and black from falling behind quickly. Number 4, John Gruden likes to control the ball. We all know this. Now, that will be of particular importance against the Saints, keeping the defense off the field. If the Raiders can do that and limit the total number of possessions in the game, that could keep the overall point total below 50. And I think that would offer the Raiders its best chance for a victory on Monday night. Not a certainty for victory, but a best chance. And number 5, Bryan Edwards didn't get many targets last week. Now, Monday could be a breakout game for him, a big physical receiver with game-changing potential. Now, if Henry Ruggs' knee is still bothering him, it'll take a few big catches or at least looks by Edwards to open up lanes for Waller, Renfro, and Josh Jacobs out of the backfield, and maybe even Ruggs. Just a few things to look at, and that is this week's version of Heidi's High Five.
Yeah, if Good ends up at right tackle, it'll be Witten on to his right, helping him block. Because he's got, I don't think Moreau's got that kind of savvy blocking skills that Witten does. That's why we brought Witten in.
Almost assuredly, which takes away an offensive weapon, but it allows all the other weapons to be free.
Yeah. And then, you know what? I don't think this is going to be, Gruden, he loves to run the ball. But I don't think Josh Jacobs is going to be as effective this game because the Saints are definitely going to game plan for him. They're going to want to take him out of the game and force Carr to pass. Because Carr, they know, likes to play it safe and check down. And so they're going to try to keep the ball in front of him and stop Josh Jacobs on the Saints defense. So Carr has to play well. Quick releases, smart decisions, be efficient, and captain check down. If Jacobs has an effect on this game like he did the last game, it's going to be out of the backfield catching in the flats, I think.
It's a more veteran defensive presence, and they have done a lot of studying on game tape. They have studied Derek Carr's tendencies. They've been taking a look at Josh Jacobs, and I think that they're going to dare Josh Jacobs to beat them. I think they're going to take him out of the game and tell Derek Carr, we're going to force you to beat us.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah.
Of course, the last time they did that, Derek Carr did beat them.
Well, yeah. I will just say that they did, but again, the Saints had a chance at the very end. The defense gave up some yardage, and the Saints had a chance. They had a field goal opportunity, which just fell a little bit short. So even though we say that the Raiders won that game, the defense almost lost it.
We barely scraped by the skin of our teeth. But that was an awesome game.
That was the thing, though. Derek Carr gives us a chance with 2 minutes to go. He did it last week. Just keep the game close. Don't let the Saints just blow up on you. You know that we have the type of offense that can score and score pretty well. So it's got to be like they got to challenge themselves. Our defense does. Got to get some sacks. More than one. And then, you know what? If Joyner better not drop another interception, right? Come on, man. I was calling for this guy to make a bounce back year, and that interception would have been, a great start for him to do that. So that's what it's going to take, really. We've got to be opportunistic on defense and get some turnovers and give the ball back to Derek Carr because, at least it takes the points off the board for the Saints, and gives us a shot to, score ourselves.
Well, Nick Morrow needs to come back too, because if Kwiatkowski can't play, and Nick Morrow was in the game, and he did not have a great game. There was one interception that went right through his hands, and there were several other plays where he was just out of position and just didn't really seem like he knew what the calls were. So if Kwiatkowski's going to be out, he is going to have to step his game up.
Well, you know what? Kwiatkowski's going to play unless the team won't let him play. So, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Okay. And actually, our little discussion about the Raiders and Saints game, we kind of covered that in Heidi's High Five.
Yeah, we just had that.
Yeah.
We just had that.
We just had that.
Well, there's still lots of things to talk about.
All right. Well, what are your other thoughts about the game coming up then?
Well, I will tell you, even though Drew Brees is a future Hall of Famer, he is getting a little long into the tooth, and he is not as mobile as he used to be. He can be rattled, as I mentioned, and I think that if the pocket can just collapse on him a few times and get in his face, we could look at a couple of mistakes, and it only takes maybe one or two mistakes to flip the field and get some momentum going.
Now, what's the backup quarterback? Not Winston, the other guy,
Taysom
the
Hill.
utility knife.
Taysom Hill.
That's what I'm worried about too. Because he can change it up too, running the RPOs and all that kind of stuff. So, he could be a factor in this game. But
well, he's just one of many weapons they have. I mean, even if Michael Thomas doesn't play, they've got Emmanuel Sanders, they've got our old buddy Jared Cook, they've got Alvin Kamara, they've got lots of weapons that they can use.
See, but that's as far as Jared Cook, Littleton has to stop Jared Cook, and then Abram has to give him help. Littleton, he has to give Littleton help with Jared Cook. That's the thing. We can't let him beat us. Ex-Raider players always seem to come back and beat us and perform well. And there's two of them on the offense, right? Latavius Murray and Jared Cook. So, but Littleton's the key, I think, since Michael Thomas is out. Littleton is the key in this game as far as the defense. He's got to be able to take Cook out and then let Jonathan Abram lay the wood on these wide receivers. And yes, they're good wide receivers, but lay the wood on these guys and make sure that these guys do not want to catch that ball. Have their head on a swivel. Have them hearing your footsteps. That's the key to victory. One of the keys to victory in my mind.
Well, I think if the defensive line can get a push up front and have hands up. I didn't see hands up a lot in the first game.
Yeah, you're right.
Not
they
nearly
were tired.
enough. And Drew Brees is not that tall, and his ball doesn't go out from a high point. So if you have your hands up, you can disrupt some of those passing lanes, and you can really affect that offensive flow because he gets the ball away quick. So if you get a push and get a hand up and disrupt those passing lanes, you can disrupt that defense disrupt that offense.
Right.
Yeah, because he's only 6 foot, 6'1"?
If that.
And we got some defenders with big paws.
We do.
Yeah. But they look tired though. They were just trying to get, their arms extended and get off the block. They couldn't get their hands up. They were not in shape. They were not prepared.
I didn't hear Collins' name called very much, and I didn't hear Farrell's name called much either.
Right. And Hankins saved us on that 4th and 1, Yeah. He switched over and plugged that hole.
Cleveland had quite a bit to do with that play too.
Well, he cleaned it up though, but Hankins he hit that A gap, and got in the way. He took up the block of the center and the guard, and that's why Farrell was able to come in on that B gap and he closed it in.
Hankins made the play on that.
Yeah, they were going for the A gap. They were trying to run for that the fullback run. They were going for the A gap, but Hankins plugged it, and then Farrell plugged the B gap.
And I know they got crucified after the fact. And why don't you give the ball to your best player, to McCaffrey? It was the right call. That fullback dive was the right call. The Raiders just made a good play on it.
Yeah. Hankins saw it. He that's why he jumped up and he made the other guy jump over. And man, he got a great push, man. I was, watching the playback. I was like, damn, that dude took up 2 blocks and plugged that hole. That was beautiful.
We do get that push for the for running plays, but we still need to push for passing.
I love that camera angle that showed Abram and Mullen going first down the other way at the same time.
Yeah, and Abram, that was great. I love Abram's jersey, man. It takes me all the way back to the 90s, I'm like, that's awesome.
There was one thing in the game that did upset me, which I had mentioned earlier. I changed my Heidi's High Five. I was going to mention it and talk about the Panthers game. But one thing that just made me so mad was when the Raiders had a goal-to-go situation, and they were on the 4-yard line, and the play they called was a 2-yard out route.
Yeah,
Witten.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm tired of that. If you're going to call something, it has to go in the end zone. It has to get past the line to gain.
Well, if you're gonna call that play, it needs to go to Waller, right? Because he's got the speed. Witten doesn't have that kind of speed. He can't turn that corner.
But the ball has to go past the goal line.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that's what they were. There was a sweep or whatever. There was two wide receivers going there. There was two routes going that way. So they were trying to get the over and the under, right? So he went with the under. But you got to have Waller in that situation because he's got the speed to get around the corner. But Witten didn't, But
See,
definitely throw it into the end zone.
I don't think anyone would have gotten around the corner. It just needs to be a ball that goes further.
The second down call in that series was a better call. Now that was the one that went to Booker, and there was just a great play made on him, and then that pulled him down to 4. If it hadn't been for that great tackle, he might have made the pile.
Or maybe next time, just give it to Josh Jacobs.
Well, they could have, but again, that was just representative of the fact that when you get down close, you can't call a 2-yard pass route.
Right. You're right.
When you need 4 yards, you can't call it. And how many times did it seem like that we were guilty of that last year, where the routes were just 2 yards short or 3 yards short?
And too many. And, to get back to the Saints discussion, right, we cannot do that versus the Saints. We have to convert those field goals into touchdowns if we're going to beat the Saints.
And the one thing that also worries me is that if they jump some of Carr's routes, if they know what the tendencies are. Now, they got a pick 6 on Tom Brady last week. And I think they're going to be licking their chops to see if they can cut some of those out routes this week. And if Carr telegraphs anything to the outside, and he has a tendency to do that sometimes, they could very easily cut in one of those routes and take one back to the house.
But it could also very easily turn into a pump fake. You know what I mean? They could end up, biting on that, and then hopefully, our wide receivers are young. It's going to be hard for them to get that double move, that fake on. But if they can do that, we can take it to the house. We got the speed.
If Carr has the time, and again, that's
True.
where
True.
let's see what the offensive line looks like. If Trent Brown is out, and if there's no doubling down on the outside, then Carr may have to get a release. He may not have an opportunity to get a pump fake in.
And Richie Incognito has a aggravated Achilles, I guess. He didn't practice on Wednesday. But so we might see, what's his name, John Simpson, right? We might see him.
Possibility.
Who knows? So, all right, hey Raider Nation, give us a call at 904-701-8667. Tell us what you think about last week's game, this week's game, all the games the upcoming games. Let us know. Leave us a voicemail or a text message at that number, or send us a message via social media, and we will share your thoughts.
All right, guys. So, bottom line, what's the score?
Okay, well, look, if I'm going to try to stay consistent, I had us losing. But with Michael Thomas being out, I think that gives us a chance, especially with Jonathan Abram being that guy in the secondary. So I'm going to go ahead and change it up, right? That's what I can do that. So I'll say we'll win, I think, like a 34-31 game, something like that. It's going to come down to a field goal. Derek Carr in the fourth quarter, giving the ball back with 2 minutes to go. He's going to get us down the field and kick a field goal for the win. Or he's not going to kick the field goal. Daniel Carson's going to kick the field goal.
I would be more impressed if Derek Carr did.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be something.
George Blanda style.
There you go.
That would be great.
Heidi, what do you think?
Well, since I predicted a win for our first game and we won, I have to again predict a win for our second game, because that's just the way it is. Plus, I have to wear my new Bo Jackson long sleeve shirt jersey.
Nice.
Yeah, I wore that for the first game, so I got to wear it for this next game too.
Oh yeah. You got to wear it every game.
Yeah, I do. So, got to make sure to do my laundry.
Yeah, do that.
So what's your score?
I'm going to have us going with the victory 31-27.
All right. Close. Now, first of all, I think that the 30-point threshold for the defense is the key. If they give up 30 or more points, I don't see that there's any way the Raiders can win. But if they can hold it close, and as I mentioned earlier, keep the total points to under 50, that's their best chance. They'll come down to the defense. Now, 4 years ago, they beat the Saints by 1, but only survived because the Saints missed a long field goal at the end of the game. A loss by 1 point against a future Hall of Fame quarterback and coach would not be shameful. Now, I'd love to be wrong, but I'm going to have to be the dissenter here, and I see it finishing up 28-27 in the Saints' favor.
Boo.
Boo!
You can't jinx us, dude.
Shame.
Shame.
You gotta
I
wear
will
the
be the
same
first
socks,
one.
too.
I will be the first one to come on and say I was happily wrong next week.
I want you wearing the same socks, same underwear, everything.
I don't think you want that.
You gotta walk. Well, if you do your laundry, it'll be all right.
All right, so that brings us to one of the best parts of the show. Not the best, but one of the best. Hey, Homer, did you know?
All right. Now, with the upcoming matchup with the Saints, I wanted to take a look at games that put up the most total points in NFL history. I discovered that the Saints and the Raiders were involved in 2 of the top 5 games of that type in NFL history, although not against each other. Now, in 2015, the Saints defeated the Eli Manning-led Giants by a score of 52-49. That's 101 total points scored in the game. Amazingly, neither team made the playoffs that year. And then way back in 1963, the then Oakland Raiders defeated the Houston Oilers by the same score of 52-49. In that game, future Hall of Famer, okay, you heard me, future Hall of Famer Tom Flores threw for 407 yards and 6 touchdowns. Now, I don't know if the Saints and Raiders can put up that kind of points next Monday, and quite frankly, I'm not sure my heart can take it. But I thought this was an interesting little nugget for this week and something, Homer, that you probably didn't know.
Of course. No, I don't know. I don't know those kinds of things, man.
That's why we have T3.
I know.
Because we're not bright enough to know that.
I knew that. I knew that's why we had T3.
TGFI. Thank God for the internet.
Thank God for T3.
Yeah, he is kind of handy to have around.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, he's cute.
Aw.
My wife would think so. I hope.
I hope so, too.
Hey, I have to give her a shout out too, because at the time that this thing airs, and this is a shameless plug, but she and I will have been married 23 years on Sunday.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. And she lets me do the podcast.
Yeah.
Tell her we said thank her. Or we said thank you to her, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know who her favorite team is?
The Raiders.
None.
Oh, man.
Well, that's better than the Broncos or the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah,
well, she grew up local here in the D.C. area, so she grew up as a fan of that team that cannot be named.
Ah, yes. So literally, she's a fan of none.
Correct. WTF, WFT.
As long as it's not the Chiefs.
No, never. That would never happen.
It wouldn't have lasted 23 years, huh?
No Chiefs, no Broncos, no Patriots.
Or 49ers, or Cowboys, or...
all the above.
Yeah.
God, I got to move to Vegas.
It'll be a little bit warm there. It'll be just as warm there as it is
I'm from Texas. Yeah, I'm from Texas, though. You know, if I could find a Raiderette to live Raiderly ever after with, it's worth it.
My best friend lives there. She's single.
Ho, ho, ho. Hey.
She likes younger men.
Wait.
What?
All right, well, let's talk.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Only Heart Podcast.
She's kind of cute. And she's a huge Raider fan.
It's sounding better and better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's the crickets.
That's the cue. Yeah, that's the cue. Right
there's the crickets.
Chirp.
It's that awkward silence on the first date where you talked about everything and then, what do we talk about next?
See, we're just practicing for Homer and my friend's first date.
No, I was gonna say that's how the date's gonna go. Oh no!
She talks way too much for that to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say if she's a Raiderette, we can talk all night. Shit.
Yeah.
Brush your teeth. Bring a bottle of scotch.
I'm gonna bring the honey Tennessee honey Jack Daniels or Jack Daniels Tennessee honey.
You're
She
good.
likes margaritas.
I'll drink those too.
Yeah. She likes the on the rocks, though. That I don't understand.
Oh, that's how I drink that honey Tennessee whiskey.
When did we turn left at Albuquerque?
A while back.
Long time ago. No, I'm just waiting for someone to intro my segment. That's all.
Oh, okay. All right. Here is the third best segment of the show, Heidi's Hero.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be?
This week's hero, I didn't write anything out. I actually wanted to talk about something. It's been talked about on a lot of shows, a lot of talk shows, a lot of articles. It's been a subject of discussion quite a bit for the last about week and a half. And this week's hero is a guy named Dak Prescott. Yeah, I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. Now, I don't normally like the Cowboys, but I've got to give him some props on this. Earlier this year, when the pandemic started and everyone was basically quarantined to where they lived by themselves, he discovered that he was having some emotions coming up that really bothered him. Anxiety and then depression. And he wasn't quite sure how to deal with them. Well, on top of that, his older brother, committed suicide into the pandemic. I think it was about a month or two in. And of course, with that, on top of everything, Dak got really depressed. And he talked about it. You know, so many of us, we just, and I say we because I do the same thing. We keep things locked inside. We don't talk about it. We don't share our feelings. We don't share our thoughts with others. We try to be strong. And being strong is actually being willing to talk about it and share it with others. Trying to stay quiet gets us nowhere except farther down a deep hole. And so I've really got to admire Dak. He did something that would be very hard for me to do. If something like that happened to my brother, I would be devastated and I would probably shut up and crawl into a hole and refuse to deal with it. Hopefully I've grown enough and I've learned enough at this point in my life where I would be able to handle it. But it would be really difficult for me. And for him as a, all-American athlete, big, strong guy, to be able to open himself up, give an interview and say, hey, this is what happened in my life. I needed therapy. I needed help. I needed to be open about it. I needed to have other people in my life help me deal with it. That is incredibly strong and says a lot about who he is. And it's something that, mental health care in this country really needed to see. Somebody willing to stand up and say that. And so, because of that, even though he's a Cowboy, he's my hero this week.
Well, I normally don't like talking about the Cowboys, but that is heroic. I've dealt with depression in my lifetime, and it's hard to talk to people about it, but it's good that he did that. He's leading the way to talk about the things that you deal with. Because, yes, you're right. When you just hold it in, you just go down this deep, dark hole, and it's hard to get back out of it. And this is September, right? So this is Suicide Awareness Month. So shout out to Raider Squid because he is all about promoting that and trying to get people to talk about these feelings that lead to what led to Dak Prescott's brother doing what he did. So I think that this is an admirable thing of Dak Prescott. And you know what? I think it's definitely worth talking about because, like I said, I've dealt with stuff like that.
And this is certainly not to take away from Dak Prescott because I'm proud of him and the stand that he took for all those, representing all those who suffer from mental health issues. And of course, we've have one on our team with a Richie Incognito who's
Right.
fought a brave battle as well. But as many years as Al Davis was close friends with Jerry Jones, this is one of those situations where I think if Al Davis had heard about this, he would have personally called Dak Prescott himself and said, "What can I do for you?" And that's the type of person that Al Davis was. He even crossed the line. If you weren't a member of the team, but he meant something. You meant something to him as a person. He would have reached out and done something, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. And thanks again to all of our listeners for joining us on the Only Nation podcast.
Raider Nation, we want to hear from y'all. The season's here. It's going to go by fast, so we want to hear from y'all. So give us a call at 904-701-8667. Leave us a voicemail or send us a text message to that number, and we will get in touch with you, or we will play your thoughts on the show. You can also email us at onlynationpod@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at onlynationpod. Facebook and YouTube, we are The Only Nation Podcast. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on your favorite social media accounts and podcasting apps. And don't forget to send us a message with your name and address, and we'll get you some free Raider swag sent out to you. Also, check out our new website at onlynationpod.com.
Until next time, everyone, go Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Viva Las Vegas!
Los Raiders!
Viva Las Vegas!
Los Raiders! Viva! Viva Los Raiders! Raiders! Oh, I'm going to see Raiderhead this weekend. I'm going to interview Raiderhead this weekend. I'm so stoked. Boom. Going to Vegas. Love it.